Hello, welcome to Lord Havoc's Marvel Champions Custom Content Creator Spotlight. It is the final spotlight for the season. And what better way to finish off this season than with my good friend JustATuna. How you doing there?
Hello, got a cup of coffee in my hand, so I'm doing very well.
As long as you got a cup of Joe, everything's good. It's been a long journey trying to get you on the show, Tuna. So I'm very appreciative that you I finally got you on here. You're a busy man, not only with the unbelievable amount of content that you've made, but also all your school stuff. So for those of you who don't know you as well as I do, could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, I'm JustATuna. Obviously I'm part of the custom homebrew Discord server. I'm currently in Sydney, and I'm an international student currently studying here.
So that makes you an honorary fellow Australian.
I've been
So
here for about 3 years, so
yeah,
maybe.
that's good enough for me.
Hey,
I'm happy with that. And
seal of
as
approval.
the rumor goes that I know like every other Australian, so therefore that makes sense because I know you as well. So it's fine. That's good. It's good. It's good having you on. International student, love it. It's awesome. And you're in. It's unfortunate that you're in Sydney, but it is what it is. You got to. Everybody knows who Sydney is. Chino, just before we start keep going, I just need to point out I absolutely love your Discord avatar. It's a picture of a great white, like an animated great white, wearing a top hat, and it says his profile says a shark. No, I'm a tuna. You're mistaken. I'm a tuna. Just a tuna, mind you. I love it. Absolutely great. Love it. That pretty much sums up Tuna's personality in a nutshell. It's great. Um, you
He's got a little
are,
top hat on as well.
yeah. I don't have a top hat on right now, but I've been known to wear one in the past, so I appreciate that. So you are pretty well known on the server for your work with Overwatch. I mean, you are I think, undisputed Overwatch master. The amount of content that you have for Overwatch is, I mean, you got others as well, but your amount of content for Overwatch is just unbelievably cool. It's just amazing stuff. So we're going to go through some of it together, including you've also got some sealed products as well, which I think is really cool. The Killmonger scenario and Silk
Oh, that was
before the
so
official
long
Silk came
ago.
out. Yeah,
They were
still
so long
beloved,
ago.
still beloved. There are quite a few people on the server that say that your version is better than the official version. So yeah,
Really? I haven't
yeah.
heard that.
And Sir
That's
Wedwin,
very.
yeah, but we will of course be covering all that sort of stuff. But before we do, um, what got you into Marvel Champions Customs?
So it was when the game first started. I was cruising around in Tabletop Simulator, and I joined a random lobby where you've had it on in here before. I actually met up with Odysseus or Green Mean Fighting Machine
Awesome.
and played with him, and that's where I first learned what the game was on Tabletop Simulator. I played it, and the one moment that really captured me was how flavorful the game was and how the team really popped out to me. And from there, the story sort of writes itself, where he invited me to a custom server, the homebrew server, as you know it now.
Mm.
And well, the story then just goes from there. Started really loving the game, loving the flavor, and playing it a lot of times. And eventually, it led down to custom works.
Cool. Awesome. Um, let's go through. So you've been here for ages. You've been longer than me. It's amazing.
I've I've been here near the start, if I remember correctly, and
Wow.
then I did have like a lull where I stopped playing for like 2 years or something.
Right.
So I only came back like recently, about like less than a year ago.
I just want a personal shout out for me is you're one of the first people that I interacted when I first came on this server, and
Really?
like we had some games and stuff. Yeah, the first person was ES, and then sort of went on from there. And but we've played quite a few games together, and
Hmm.
um,
We gotta
and
play more, man.
yeah, we should. Well, you guys play at weird times while I'm at work. Like I'm technically at work when you guys play. So, but every now and again, I manage to jump in as a fourth with Bubble and stuff. But
Love those
I
guys.
just want to
They
thank
are.
you for being so friendly and helpful and welcoming. You're definitely a great ambassador for the custom
Oh,
community.
I'll turn it back on you. You've been very polite, and you've always been very like, you've always got that aura around you where you are very like you seem to almost this politeness aura where like we can joke to one another, and it feels very chill. And whenever you're around, it's like a very chill atmosphere. It feels very nice and comfortable.
Awesome, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Cool. All right, let's talk about your stuff.
Yeah.
Let's start with your sealed product. So you do have sealed stuff, which is pretty exciting. So Silk, is Silk your first creation?
Oh, my first creation that was released, or
Mm.
that I self-released, or
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
that you self-released.
no,
Okay.
my first self-released is not even on the mod, and I've buried it back in. I have buried it 10 feet under.
What was it? It wasn't Daredevil, was
It
it?
was no, I think the first thing I ever made was probably a modular for the Red Hood,
Okay.
the Wrong Justice modular. Which, if you search, like, it might like I don't know if you search it up if it come up or not, but that was like really long ago when the game first started, and it looks terrible.
What's it called? Wrong Justice.
The
I gotta
Wrong
look.
Justice or
I'm looking for. I
something.
gotta look for it. I gotta try and
Oh
find it.
dear. Um,
That's awesome. All right,
but
so that was your very first thing, modular. It's now since been buried, and then what did you move on to?
if I remember correctly, like I don't. It's pardon me. It's been some time,
Hmm.
so somewhere along the lines, I made like a Doctor Fate hero.
Cool.
Again, been buried. You're
Oh,
never gonna see that one ever again.
that's a shame.
And then there was like the more notable things that I can remember is Killmonger and
Hmm.
no Electro first. It was an
Okay.
Electro scenario. Of
Is
course,
was
nowadays there have been more. There have been other scenarios that are Electro that are definitely looks a lot better than what I did. So I'm very happy to see that.
well, I don't see Electro on the board. Have you buried that one as well, or?
I buried that one as well.
Okay, that's a shame.
So a bit some time ago, I used to have everything on my table,
Yeah.
but Tuna is a little bit of a dummy and overwrote his own table. Like, and so a lot of that stuff, I decided to take it as a sign to organize my table a little better.
I see. Okay. Well, at least you
So
didn't. At
this
least you
is,
didn't do what I did and just deleted your entire Steam cache. It's
oh
got-
God,
I'm
that'd be
still
bad.
I'm still having the repercussions from that, man. Just I still, no matter how many times I reset it, it's crazy. So don't do that, people. Don't do it. Okay, cool. All
So
right. Well,
what
then
you see on
eventually.
the ah,
Sorry, what did you say?
but basically what you see on the table right now is my more recent works that I either that or stuff that I'm happy to just put onto the table,
Okay,
like the
cool.
sealed ones.
So the quality stuff. Right.
Hopefully.
You make good stuff, dude. There's no need to be modest. It's fine. Well, I've actually got your Overwatch Heroes section on screen. I did have your entire board.
Yep.
Question number one: why are there black ones? What's happened to Mai and DVA?
Oh, they're
Oh, they're just upside down. They're in the naughty corner.
yep. So those characters are close to finished.
Close to bagged.
They're very playable.
Right.
You can see the sort of down here in the prototype area.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
they're
I see.
close to a
There they are.
spot where I'm happy to put them on top of here. Of like, yes, I'm happy with these. These are the very finalized states.
Yeah.
Until then, they stay face down.
Okay, I got you. Okay, cool. So you're still working out the business with
I'm
this guy, right? Frostbite or whatever his name is. What's this guy's name?
oh May. She
No,
doesn't have
no,
any.
not May. The little robot thing that
Oh,
she's got.
oh, that's really. We've already figured out what I'm doing with her.
Oh, you have figured that out? Okay, cool, awesome. I just thought
Almost like a
there was a
little
lot of
guy.
snowball. That's what it is.
Damn it.
There was a lot of
Little
conversation
guy.
about that.
Yeah, I had to. It's. I iterated through a bunch of things until I found something that I really liked of like the core mechanic and the game loop.
Okay, cool,
It,
awesome.
it's a long story.
So what more does it need to finally be like playable or like bagged as
I
it says
need
up here?
to play her in other aspects
Okay,
and see the general power level because
okay,
that in particular, like giving a very quick brief without going too in depth. That's a character that's around status effects, similar to Miles Morales.
Okay.
And that sort of character, it's hard to tell how strong they are because in comparison, because one thing that I do try to keep in mind is between single player, two player, four player. Those are all different environments and their
Yeah.
kits can vary wildly. Like any sort of stun or confused character is going to be a lot stronger in one player compared to four players. And
Yeah.
so it's hard to tell how strong a character is overall until you've seen them in all those states and go, okay, this is the trade-off here, that's the trade-off there, and is this fine?
And you do go that far? Like you test from everything from 1, 2, 3 to 4?
Not entirely, but mostly four and one player, I think is where I usually go, because one player and two player are kind of close.
Right. Cool. Awesome. All right. So I've got a question. I think I have a theory, but I need you to explain. What do the colored dots mean? Because they're not buttons.
Oh, those are random Go. Those are random Go tokens from the hit game Go.
Oh, okay.
That are
From the
sort
hit
of,
game Go.
yes, the famous hit game Go.
The game that's been around for centuries.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And I've simply tinted them a color to signify the deck aspects, the precon aspect.
The precons. So they signify what
Um,
precon comes with them. Leadership. See?
As you can tell, this is very professionally done.
Yeah. I feel dumb now. Because I thought they were different stages of completion. Like good to go, don't play it.
Oh,
Maybe.
I see.
And then I didn't understand what the blue was, and I'm just sitting there thinking, what could the blue mean then? And then now I feel like an idiot because it's quite clearly the four colors of Marvel Champions.
It's alright. I'll put like a pink warp and it'll be obvious.
Yeah, put a pink. Yeah. Oh no, don't put a pink one there. Bull sucks. Okay, cool. Let's talk about the
Hey.
heroes. It sucks. Bull sucks. It's my show. I'm saying that. It's the way it is. All right. Who's your favorite of your Overwatch characters?
My favorite of these ones in the top left.
Yeah, the ones that you've created.
Ooh, that's a hard question. Probably between either the Tracer up there,
Yep.
or Echo.
All right. Let's have a look at Tracer. Cool. Now, one of the things that I really appreciate about your creations is that I know nothing about Overwatch. I know the absolute bare minimum. I've never played the game, and I'm like you. I'm actually more interested in the lore than the actual game itself because I couldn't give a crap.
Yep.
What I really like about it is about your sort of Overwatch stuff. Is you've got a heap. I mean, look at this table, right? You've got all these heroes, these aspect cards over here, which I think is amazing. You've even got like a campaign thing down here, which is great, and then you got a whole bunch in prototype. But they're all different. It just blows my mind. It's just how much content, but they're all unique. It's an amazing amount of work. So let's compare Tracer and Echo to show exactly what I'm talking about, to prove that I'm right. So Tracer's discard your hand. I like how she's got the temporal trait. That's pretty sweet. Discard your hand, even if you have no cards in hand. Draw 3 cards and place one of them on top of your deck. Why did you add the even if you have no cards in hand part of the mechanic?
If you look real closely at the bottom left of the Tracer card at her hand size,
Yes.
she's got 3 card hand size.
Yep.
So very often, that even if you have no cards in hand, that's actually thanks to Vero a long time ago. Because if you didn't have those brackets, then discarding your hand in Marvel Champions, you need to be able to do the left side part of the text before the arrow in order to resolve the right side part of the card.
Yeah.
So what this means is you cannot discard your hand if you don't have any cards in hand.
Right.
When the intent is that you're able to do that even with no cards in hand.
Ah, right. Okay, cool. So
it's out of necessity.
Has a hand size of 3. You draw your 3 at the end of the player phase, and then during as an action you can discard your hand even if you already used all 3 cards in order to draw another 3. So she's got a hand size of 6.
It's 5.5, I'll say,
Five
because
point
you
five.
have to
Okay.
put one back on top of the deck.
Yeah,
So
and then
you end
place
up
one on
with a
top.
hand
Yeah,
size
that's
of
true.
5.
Okay. Cool. So why not just make it a hand size of 5 instead of having the whole mechanic of discard and draw?
So the reason for that being that limitations can breed a new sort of playstyle.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the other one
That's
is
going to be the
flavor.
quote. That's going to be the quote of the episode.
Oh goodness,
That is so
don't
good.
quote.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
don't
that's
quote me.
there.
No.
That's awesome. Right.
The character itself, there's a bunch of lore stuff that's going into this. But TLDR, person with timey-wimey issues,
Yeah.
is kind of stuck between like time areas without her gear. If not, she literally blinks out of existence and time travels.
Right. Okay.
So when you think about what's going on here, you're playing with the knowledge of half your hand.
You're
And
playing
then
the
you have the
knowledge of
ability to fast forward and play with the second hand.
right. Okay, so there's fast
So you're
forward.
playing with half the knowledge, like you're playing with your past and the present and the future, because you're even top decking something. So you kind of have this little control over all three aspects of time.
Right.
That was the idea with the 3 card hand size there.
And so her ability is discard your hand, even if it's 0, draw 3 cards, place one on top of your
Yep.
deck. And then, so then you are top decking because you place one on top of your deck, right? You get to choose. And then fast forward
Yes.
says, as a hero action, draw 3 cards, then place one card.
Okay.
So it's a hero ability again. It's, it's unbelievable. I think this is so inventive. So
A lot of
creative.
her kit, the big thing with what I mean by the fact that why not just make her a 5 card hand size, right?
Yeah.
A lot of her cards end up getting a kicker or only being able to be used at a certain number of cards in hand. So, for example, her pistol, which is probably her most important card, or one of the more important cards in her kit,
Yep.
it's a 2 cost, tap, deal 1 damage. Deal 2 if you have 1 card or fewer. If you only have 5 cards in your hand, then the play loop is just play your hand.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you're just doing what you normally would do.
Yeah. The player loop. Oh, this is so good. Cool.
The other card, yeah. And so by sort of restricting the hand size, we sort of ended up with a more. It also kind of impacts deck building, right? Because when you think about the game as a whole, right? Like, cards in your hand are not just stuff you can play, but they're also the amount of resource you get to work with.
Yes.
You said earlier that she's technically a 6 card hand size hero.
Well, yeah, 5.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, 5.5, but in a
Yeah.
way, 6 because you get to put 1 on top, right? Like you
Yeah.
basically get that extra card, and you can choose if you keep it or toss it.
Right.
So theoretically, she has better hand size than most other heroes in the game just by existing alone. We know how strong +1 hand size is when you look at Doctor Strange's, card.
Yeah, yeah. Sorcerer Supreme.
Now, the restriction to that of this powerful ability is again, you're only playing with 3 cards at a time,
Yeah.
which means you cannot play any 3 cost cards. You cannot play any 4 cost cards because you only have 3 cards.
Yeah. Unless you put like resource generators in play.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's another opportunity cost of like you need to sort of balance it out and sort of and the entire deck that she's built around is sort of centralized around letting you be able to play those 3 cards in your hand.
And then you move forward or backwards in time. You change time zone, and then boom, you got 3 more cards to play with, and then
Yeah.
you do
It
stuff. Yeah.
also helps a lot with this sort of kit
Yeah.
because another thing that you get to synergize with is a lot of top decking stuff. In the game itself, if I gave you a card that said, put this card, like search your deck for a card, add it to your hand,
Yeah.
that's very strong.
Yes.
Even like Miss Marvel's ability is tap after you play event, return to your hand.
Yeah.
Tracer has ways to recycle cards, but they recycle to the top of her deck.
Yeah. So you know you're going to get it when you do your draw ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a delayed draw that ends up
Yeah.
changing a card. Either like you keep it for the next round, or you use it as sort of a way to recur the card and then play it this turn.
So
There's a lot of little micro things going on here that you
Yeah.
can kind of
she's
play
it's like
together.
it's like she's got her own little mini game, which I think she's so good. She's so inventive. And did you So you took the lore of her, traveling through time and all that sort of business, and did you have the mechanic already in mind before you picked Tracer to do it for, or Tracer inspired that mechanic?
A lot of the ideas I come up with, right, are a marriage between team and mechanic of like what I thought about. So I usually have an idea in my head of like, hey, how would we make this sort of mechanic work? So the question started with, hey, I wonder if it is possible to make a character with a 3-card hand size. How would you make that fun? How would you make that work in the game? Because this was made before SPDR, like the base concept of the character.
Yeah.
And then you find a character that sort of speaks to that language of like, oh, that makes a lot of sense actually. I think this would work.
Cool. Awesome. All right.
And
Well,
then you put them together.
yeah. In that case, then let's move to Echo, which I think is another amazingly thematic. This Echo actually inspired when you first released Echo. That inspired me to actually do some research on the Overwatch universe. That's how impressive I thought she was. How exciting she was.
Aw.
So during deck building, your deck must include 6 different identity-specific event cards from other heroes as part of your core 15 hero cards during deck building. Now that mechanic's not new. There's a bunch of taskmasters out there that do like similar themes and all that sort of stuff, right? But it fits so well with her that and the way that you do it though is so I think so unique. So then you put copy in, and this is just amazing. When you play an identity-specific card that references a character's name, replace every instance of that name with Echo. So you can just do whatever you want, as long as you've got those 15 cards that you picked. So you've got to... Do you recommend building Echo once you already know what the scenario is, or do you build it with an idea of what you may want to accomplish with that? Do you pick the cards based on the aspect that you're going? What's your sort of philosophy there?
I think if you are deck building with Echo, part of me just wants to say, look at your collection and find the funniest combos you can find and mix them together.
Love it.
Because this character is basically telling you to go ham, go creative, do whatever you want. This character will be a little like house. Like you're building your aspect and then you're building the hero itself.
Yeah. Just have fun with it. She's just
have fun with it.
Yeah.
The other part of her, which funny enough, this part of her kit with the personality databanks, that was not the core concept of this character when she was made.
Right. What was it originally?
The core question the character that I wanted to answer was, how do you make a hero whose core gimmick is sort of like Rogue, where you can copy other players' cards?
Yes.
How do you make that work in a kit that still works in single player?
It still works in single player, yes. Yeah.
Yes. The idea of the character was like Rogue was able to copy other people's hero powers. What I wanted a character that was their main gimmick, the copying part.
Yeah.
The answer is to allow her all her cards, if you realize it, when you read a lot of the cards, they key off of the word identity specific and not echo.
Yeah.
And so you're able to basically loot stuff from other people's discard piles, other people's decks, and all your cards will work together with what other people at the table are doing. This is a character that can be played in single player with the 6 extra identity specific event cards.
Yeah.
But with cards like Initialized Copy, in a multiplayer game, you can start comboing off with other people. Like what they're doing, and you start paying attention to what your teammates are doing, what they're bringing, and you copy that and double it up.
That is so cool. Yeah, and she's so pretty. Look, I just love the design. Again, another cool headshot. It looks so awesome. Yeah, I love her. She's great. And that's the thing. So circling back to what I said before when we first started looking at these two, they're unique. They're two completely different characters. All of them are. All of your characters all have various interesting mechanics, but they're all different to each other. None of them work the same. I've seen just about all of them in action. Actually, I don't think I've seen this guy. Oh yeah, no, he's the support guy, right? He's the support dude. So I've seen all of them in action except for the prototypes, and they're so fun, so much fun.
Honestly, part of the reason why they're so different is, well, due to the lore of Overwatch itself. Like,
Yeah.
that's a hero shooter,
Yeah,
and every character is doing a different thing. And it's sort of like the way I would compare it to is like Marvel Champions.
right.
All the heroes feel quite different because their power set and who they are all very different.
Yeah,
Unless they're similar, in that case, you intentionally make the mechanics have a parallel.
right.
It's storytelling and like design.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
yeah. All right, let's move on to your scenarios, including your. Actually, before I make this comment, we're going to talk about Widowmaker. Before I make the comment,
Oh dear.
out of 1 to 10, how hard do you think the Widowmaker scenario is?
Honestly, not that difficult. She's scenario 1, so
Okay.
it's not too hard.
She's brutal. She's unbelievably brutal. Where's the card that just kills you in one shot? Which card's that? Oh, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
The main scheme, if you were to look at the main scheme, if the main scheme pops, you don't lose the game.
right. When this scheme is defeated, when this game is completed, defeat a random player. Dude. Dude. Now, it's in just like a normal game, that's harsh enough. But in a campaign game?
So, okay, so the idea with this one is, again, team is king. We want things to be flavorful. We want things to be very thematic. Widowmaker, lore aside, that's a sniper.
Yeah.
She's a sniper. She's an assassin sniper. What happens when the main scheme pops? She
Yeah.
headshots somebody.
You are so
That's it.
mean. So mean. That evil laugh.
The best part about this text is like you either roll a dice for the players to decide who it is. Hell, you can even do rock paper scissors. You can decide it however you want. Like important thing is random player.
don't we just do like that mini Candy Crush game or whatever that game is? What's that game? That little board game that we play at like 1,000 speed that determines who the first player is.
Candyland, yep.
Yeah,
Zero loves
Candyland,
pulling
yeah.
it out. Zero, I think Zero was the one who started it, and then from now on, it's just like we always use it to decide who goes first now.
I like Widowmaker as a character, but this is insane.
But the big idea with the main scheme is rather than most of the time, it's been balanced so that, well, most of the time, if the main scheme hits the cap, you lose the game anyways. So
Yeah, exactly.
why not have a bit of fun with it?
That's what I really like about your designs is the fun angle, right? I mean, logic, right? It's like, yeah, once the main scheme caps, the game's over anyway. So what are you complaining about? I get it. And
It shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't be happening unless the game's already you're already losing.
you're
that
already
badly.
losing anyway, right? So that's what I find really fascinating because it's. Yeah, I mean, thankfully I came to that same conclusion as well. When I first read it, I was like, "Are you serious, Tuna? Like, what the hell are you doing?" But then, of course, I thought about it. I was like, "Well, it's no different to if the scheme's out. So, it's just, what are you worried about?" I think it's very thematic. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's brutal, but I think it's brutal for a reason. I mean, that's exactly what she does, right? She's meant to headshot you. Yeah.
Then again, it is the first scenario, or meant to be comparatively to the first scenario in a scenario of 5 different encounters.
Yeah.
You usually won't hit that 9 per player cap.
I never did.
Out of the games
I
I've
played
tested,
it, I never did it, so it's fine.
out of the games I've played in and tested in, there was one game where someone got randomly headshotted. In that game,
I wasn't there.
in that game, we had the main thwarter was a Winter Soldier on Justice, which kind of Blast did his best, but someone got headshotted.
Well, I'm glad Blast was playing Justice because there's no point when Zero plays Justice.
Oh no!
Oh, bird!
He's not not even here.
He's
Come
not
on,
even here to
man.
defend himself. That's disgraceful. Anyway.
Nah.
So, so you've already done a campaign. You got a campaign in. Is this ready to go, or is this
That one is
in
ready.
progress?
This one hasn't really been tested all too much,
Gotcha.
but this is meant to be a mini campaign because I wanted to start making campaigns
Yeah.
and learning how to do it.
Yeah.
That one
Nice.
is, I would scale it similar to Mojo Mania, where you only have 3 encounters, and that's about it.
Gotcha. So
It was the first example of like, how do I do this? How do I make this? Big thanks to Kaji for giving me a lot of templates and giving me tips on like how to do it and how to lay it out.
Oh yeah, Kaji. I
Like,
got the templates for the book from Kaji as
yeah,
well.
like
Yeah,
this
they're very
this
cool.
PDF, like initially, Kaji's one looks very different,
Yep.
but I am using his template for this one.
Yeah.
So big thanks
Yeah.
to Kaji there for this one.
Yeah. Very cool. Huge shout out to Kaji. For my, I used his templates for my campaign as well. Hydra Unleashed. Yeah, mad respect for this campaign thing. I love it. So you're eventually going to expand it out to the sort of the full 5. Are you going to do a different one or?
I was going to do a different one just because these 3 are kind of like the design of these 3 were meant to be in isolation comparatively to something like this where like you can see an effect like that would probably have an impact in a larger campaign.
Yeah.
Um, you can sort of see it, the type of design you would employ in Rise of Red Skull,
Yep.
where there's a bunch of things that don't really make sense until you see it from a campaign perspective. Like delay counters don't mean anything in a normal game usually, but
Yeah.
in the campaign will mean something.
Yep.
And so the villains, the 5 villains that I've made are sort of meant to track that, and over time, sort of they're made for a campaign primarily rather than as standalone. You can still play them as standalones, but they have little hooks in there that can influence later decisions.
Cool. Love it. It's great. I really look forward to it. It's very cool. Let's talk about your aspect stuff.
Oh dear.
Yeah, this is. I'm just gonna flip these ones over. The disrespect. Yeah, like you are very involved in the sort of the people, like the people in the community who make aspects and stuff. There's some very talented people doing this sort of stuff. Making aspect cards is the hardest thing as far as I'm concerned. I'd rather make a scenario, which is commonly referred to as the hardest thing, than try to make aspect cards that actually
Yes,
balance.
I agree. Scenarios are harder to make than aspect cards.
Yeah, well, they're basics. What's your philosophy between on your aspects cards? So how is there like a golden rule for how to balance an aspect card versus a hero card?
Prefacing this to start, I am probably not the best person at balancing aspect cards.
Right.
I honestly don't think I can say much because I don't think I am nearly as experienced as some other creators in making aspect cards. I've only
Okay.
recently started doing it.
Right.
While I can talk more about like hero kits and scenarios, less so, mostly hero kits, because
Gotcha.
I've made those the most. Aspect cards are a little hard because even nowadays I'm constantly iterating and changing and then like tweaking stuff.
Well, then that
I
shows what I know about balancing, because I thought all your stuff was like perfectly balanced. Like I just assumed that like as far as I'm concerned, your stuff is professional. Like could be professionally released. So yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think so. It's
Obviously, I have
mostly
no idea.
I'm more in terms of like confidence. I am more confident in the hero kits rather than
Yeah.
the aspect stuff. Like I don't think the aspect stuff are mostly for fun, but I do try to get them to a state where they're fun to play with and also not too good.
Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome. Cool. All right. Have you got any other than the prototypes here? Have you got any other future projects that you can give us a spoiler for? So you got the campaign coming. Is there anything else?
Oh, so for the campaign, I've got all the villains already ready.
Oh, really?
I'm just releasing each one once now that the exams are done, since usually how I work on things, when I'm working on an assignment or a project or one of those things, I don't know about you. I can't really concentrate on one thing for too long.
Right.
My
Yeah.
mind just sort of goes
Oh
AWOL.
no, I'll be there. I've got three different scenarios that are all in progress, work in progress at the moment. And I keep swapping between all three of them because I can't. I get bored if I focus on the one thing. So
And
yeah,
during that, yeah, and during the time when I sort of like, when if I can't like continue working on like a project, I hop to a different thing.
yeah.
That was happening throughout my exams. So during the time, I've created entirely. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
So instead of doing the spotlight, you were working on stuff. I thought you were
I
just doing
mean,
exams. Disgrace.
I've got like a whole bunch of villains here. Some of them are
Maximilian
empty.
Doomfist.
Some
Oh,
of them
I've
are
seen.
empty,
Yeah, I've
but I've
seen
got the
Doomfist in
cards.
action. That's cool.
Yeah.
Moira,
So you can see that
Sigma.
there are four other villains here. Some of them
Yeah,
are empty. I've got the cards. I'm not just gonna put them out here just yet.
yeah.
Some
That's
of them
cool.
haven't been numbered, obviously. But
Yep. Awesome.
yeah,
So
that's one thing I'm working on. And the other thing that I recently got into that I want to do is Guardians of the Galaxy,
yep.
another box for them. Partially because I know you've probably seen me questioning around in the general chat going,
Yeah.
hey, what do we not like about the box? What do we
Yeah.
hate about it?
Talking about the Milano and stuff. Yeah. Ship
Part
command.
of it, part of it came from the fact that, well, I got a lot of Guardian content recently.
Cool.
And when I looked at the boxes with Guardian villains, I realized, well, there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of space adventures that are, that I'd have fun playing. Because most of the content in Galaxy's Most Wanted is like Drang in 4 players is a nightmare. um, let's not talk about Ronan or Nebula. Uh,
Nebula's not too bad, but Ronan's
Nebula's not too
instant
bad. I
kill.
don't know.
I don't
Oh
mind. I don't mind
no.
Nebula. I don't play a lot of full player because you guys play
Okay, you
too
should.
early in the
Okay,
day. So,
sometime we should do expert Nebula, and let's see. Let's see. I want to see your reaction to expert
I have played
Nebula.
an expert Nebula with Bubble, and other people, and yeah, yeah, she's annoying. She's annoying, but it's nowhere near as annoying as the instant
Mm.
death that Ronan gives you. Just the
The-
random RNG crap that he gives you. It just
Now,
irritates me.
one more thing about Nebula that you probably didn't realize
Okay.
is, have you ever played Nebula single player?
Actually, I don't think I ever have.
So Nebula on stage one, the first technique revealed each round gains surge. In 4 players, right? The surge is happening once on one player.
Yep.
In one player, it's happening once
Every
to one
time.
player
Yeah.
only, so it's gonna happen every time. So you just like it's impossible, and not only that, the Milano is the only thing that can tap to reduce the base. I have a lot of complaints about that encounter.
Okay, well, I haven't played. I haven't played a single player, so obviously, I speak from a
Yep.
level of ignorance. All right. Okay, I'll
But
give her a go.
basically, where I'm going with this is there's not a lot of Guardian content like or space themed adventures that you can
Yeah.
really lock in and play with the Guardians. And so I see that there's that opening there, and well, seeing how I've just got a bunch of Guardian contents in real life, I'd be interested in trying to make it myself. That's how custom content works.
I'm interested to see where you go with that because I tried to do
Yeah.
that for Star Wars. I wanted to have. I created a scenario that was purely just the space battle part of it and have like actual vehicles like spaceships, like fighting it out and stuff. And it doesn't work,
The,
and it didn't work out.
yeah,
And so
the hard the hard part would be how do you translate the Marvel Champions loop of like you're an alter ego, you build up your stuff, you go to hero
yeah,
form, you do hero
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, that's
And
that.
how do
That
you
was the
translate
problem.
that?
There's no real
Yeah.
alter ego. There's no alter ego, but that entirely gone because you in combat all the time as a spaceship. That was my hardest thing. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see where you go with that because I want to then I want to steal it for Star Wars. So I'll do it. Cool. All right. Are there any creators or creations in the community that inspire you?
Oh my goodness, there's a lot. There's so many. I guess the first place I would shout out, like I wouldn't be here without Odysseus. Um, like he's not around very often anymore, but he
Hmm.
was again the person who got me into this. So a big shout out there.
Cool.
I would shout out like the the people who we play with every week. They're
Mm.
very helpful. Like Zero, Blast, Bubble. Like the amount of stuff that we've played together and the amount of feedback that they've given has been quite instrumental. Shout out to Vero for all of the correcting that he does. Shout out to Gold. Like, there's so many people to thank, and there's so many people to like look at. Like,
Yeah.
it's sort of hard.
And has there been any like creations that have inspired any of your work? Like a custom work?
uh, I'll be honest. I don't really look at other customs all that often,
Right.
but some of the customs that I've seen that I've been blown away by. Well, Design Hacker is a pretty big one. Seeing how pretty art cards his cards look.
Mm.
Um, Sorry, I'm sort of grasping here
No, that's all right. It's fine.
because the coffee's run out. Like my cup's empty.
The coffee's run out. Okay, all right, we'll speed it up then.
There are others. I swear there are others. I just can't think of them at the top of my head. Oh my
Disclaimer.
god, I feel so terrible now.
That's fine.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned.
Okay. Sorry. Kaji's campaign, the scroll campaign. That was like
Cool.
that was what got me started on wanting to work on campaigns.
Awesome. There you go. Cool. And I agree. I agree with all your suggestions. They're all great people. Cool. Well, in that case, any final thoughts? Is there anything that we didn't cover that you would like us to talk about?
Not really. I don't think.
I don't think. Okay, well, in that case, we'll wrap it up then. Judah, I just want to thank you for how welcoming you've been to me in the community, and you are to others, and your laugh is just infectious, and it's always fun playing with you. And just your output is just so creative. I'm always impressed at just how unique they all are, and even as a non-Overwatch fan, it draws me in. So it's really really cool. And thanks for doing the spotlight. It took us a bit to get it sorted, but I'm very happy for you to be the final episode for this season. And thanks for for chatting with me.
Oh, good. Thanks for inviting me on.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, the usual disclaimer. This is, like I said, the final episode of the Creator Spotlight series. If you'd like to check out the others, please check out my YouTube. This is where you'll be watching this anyway. So check out the channel and the content for the other Creator Spotlights. We've got very talented, creative people in this community, and if you're interested in joining this community, there'll be a link to the Discord. If you want to join just to take advantage of the amazing content that's there, so you can expand the game, then by all means go for it. If you want to join because you have some ideas of your own and you want to get started on making those, there are plenty of people just as, maybe not as nice as Tuna, but they're still nice people who will help you out. There's plenty of tools there that you can use, and they'll offer advice on and feedback and stuff. As always, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment. We'd really appreciate that. It would help the channel. And as always, please make sure that you look after yourself and tell the people that you love them as often as you can. Thanks again, Tuna. Thanks everybody who's watching. Take care. Bye.
Take care.